Morning and welcome to the Capital Gang. I am Oscar Semujjju on this rainy, cold Saturday morning, ideal for Capital Gang, and welcome to the show. In the studio already, I have Honorable Ibra Semujjju. Good morning, Honorable Semujjju.
My name is Ibrahim. I am not Ibra.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Yes. Good morning. But even Honorable is not your name, but we call you all those things.
That's why I said my name is Ibrahim. I didn't say my name is Honorable Ibrahim. I said my name is Ibrahim.
Right. Maybe you need to warm up. And good morning, Honorable Dixon Katesh Rumba, a.k.a. Katesh.
Yeah, good morning, Oscar, and my colleague, yes, Honorable Semujjju, and the listeners.
Okay. Ivan is in the studio. Good morning and welcome to the Capital Gang, Ivan Rugambwa.
This young man is a civil servant.
Good morning, listeners.
UCC will reprimand you
for having him on the gang.
For bringing a civil servant to be involved in the partisan debate.
Have you seen his brand new pickup? Yeah.
I am used to the other one. I haven't seen the new one.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, yeah. I'll show you today.
Oscar, you have the newest car in the parking room.
But as we keep arguing, mine has no.
It is rewarding in Uganda to abuse the office. It is rewarding.
Nice. So, yesterday when I invited Ivan to the gang, I asked him if he's a member of is it PLU?
Patriotic League of Uganda.
Yes. So are you a member of PLU, Ivan Rugambwa? Move to the microphone.
I have not had the PLU issue a call for membership, but also first because it is not yet a formally registered political entity. So it is a loose association of people who are sympathetic to the cause of transition and who have in mind General Muhoozi as the ideal candidate for that to lead that cause. So technically there is no formal or structured membership of the Patriotic League of Uganda. In any case, it was launched just the other day. So I think that is a premature question.
Yeah.
Teachers have problems.
Yes, you ask him something and he answers something else.
Different question.
I think he had already prepared that answer. So let me try another way. Are you a member of the MK movement?
Again, you see, you can ask. I think the ideal question should be the ideal question, because
now
Ivan
wants to set his own questions.
The MK movement is not a formally registered entity. You see, you can ask Semujjju whether he's a member of the Forum for Democratic Change, because the state of Uganda.
See, if Oscar asked me, are you a Muslim? I will say yes. But
the Muslim is a religion.
No, I'm not registered anywhere.
Yes, but
to be a member of something, whether registered or not, you don't have to explain what it is. It's a simple question. Either you are or you are
but
not.
the membership is a defined identity. It is not just a loose. If today I come up and join a demonstration for something,
See,
I don't automatically become a member of
before you even, let me ask Katesh. Katesh, are you Church of Uganda or Catholic?
Church of Uganda.
Church of Uganda. You see, no preamble, nothing.
Yes, if you ask me, I am also a member of the Church of Uganda.
But I've asked you, are you a member of the MK movement?
I am baptized, I am confirmed in that religion called Anglicanism, which is a branch of the church, which is Church of Uganda. So there, yes. So there, my identity is clear. I have documentation to prove my membership. But if you ask me if I am a member of MK movement, I don't have any formal document or anything that identifies me as such. You see.
Let me send that microphone to Katesh, yeah?
Yes.
And Semujjju, the one who would have had the easiest time would have been Ivan, okay, to answer these questions. But if he's having real trouble answering these questions,
but I had trouble, Oscar.
You did.
He can't answer. You see, Ivan.
A question needed a yes.
Ivan is
only.
A civil servant.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Apart from when he comes to gang.
Yes.
So here it is a crime he commits.
Yeah.
But they have authorized him. So you go and commit that crime. I don't think he wants to commit another one.
But it's not a crime to
no, I mean, that's why you should answer straight away. So, Katesh, for you, a sitting NRM MP, you are in real trouble. In fact, the ministers might be in real, if I used slang and say real trouble. But you're in real trouble because you cannot determine which side you are. You have to be careful with your words completely. So let me start with the same questions.
There is no trouble at all. I think Oscar today you will be surprised because
hang on a minute. Let me get you onto the microphone. So and I repeat the question.
Yes.
So are you a member of the PLU, Patriotic League Patriotic League of Uganda? But you also had things like Suvi and so on. So you were one of the founders of Suvi.
Now which?
Now that one is working.
Oscar.
Are you a member of PLU? I don't know if we are going to get answers today.
No. I'm giving you the answer.
Right.
You are the teacher.
But
you set exams for your
do you know,
children.
Katesh, we have low marks questions.
No.
Are you a member of PLU?
I've not even answered your question.
You say yes or no, then I give you 2 marks.
Answer. You already anticipate the difficulty.
Yes.
He says yes or no, and I give him 2 marks.
What have you done? What have you taken this morning?
Are you a member of PLU?
Oscar,
I want to start there.
Last week I was not around. I came back on Friday.
Are you addressing my question?
Yes.
Right.
So my friends reached out to me about what was happening, and as far as politics,
but by last Friday,
as far as politics is concerned, let me give you the answer.
Okay.
I'm a member of NRM. I have an NRM card. Right?
Right.
PLU. PLU is a new pressure group which has come, largely led, championed by NRM cadres, but it is open for others, like you have seen many other political actors from different parties. It's not a political party, it's a pressure group. So if you ask me, are you a member? It has not started issuing membership cards. So how can I claim that I'm a member when I don't have a membership card? The card I have is for NRM. This one is a pressure group. How it transits along the way, we will see. But for now, as a pressure group, I associate myself with the intentions of the pressure group. First of all, it is arising out of the muted character of our party. You know, our people in that pressure group are looking at transition. Some of them are disappointed with issues of service delivery. So the discussion is coalescing around how can we look at the future, how can we deliver better to Ugandans. And so for me, we should not read much into the pressure group, start saying who is a member or what. They have not yet issued membership cards. It was launched last week. I don't even know why you made it a very big topic for discussion.
Okay,
instead of us discussing the troubles in NUPA and the FDC.
We discussed
there is no contradiction.
So, Katesh, are you a member of MK?
I'm a member movement? Of NRM. That's the card I hold.
So you are not a member of the MK
I have
movement.
told you that I associate myself with the intentions which I have read the pressure group is vying for, because I also want better service delivery. I also look at the future of the issues of transition. I'm also looking at the space within NRM. Do we have space to discuss some of these challenges at the moment? To better prepare ourselves.
Thank you.
Semujju is pushing the mic to me.
No. No, I want him to go to the microphone, Honorable Semujju. So, Honorable Semujju,
Yes.
is this going to be? I mean, do you remember when Chisanja started, and we had people here on Gang, and I would ask them, "Are you a member of Chisanja?" And they'd give these same answers. I don't know where Ivan copied them from, but all of them would give the same answers. And eventually, they promoted Chisanja when the big man said that he's the one who started Chisanja.
You see, Oscar, I even told Mr. Museveni when we had him on the Capital Gang. Museveni operates that way. He keeps his followers guessing, but he also wants to create an impression of an uninterested person. I remember a group of young MPs in the 7th Parliament. At that time, he had camped to Gulu to execute the war against Konyi when the issue of lifting the term limit started. So they asked him in Gulu, "Sir, do we begin the campaign? Are you interested?" He said, No. That's not the good way to go over it. The discussion should be whether lifting term limits is good or not whether I am interested. So they came back confused. Because the constitution was limiting only one person in Uganda. So therefore there was no discussion about anyone else. The only person who was limited was Yoweri Museveni, because he was serving his final term under the 1995 constitution. But he said, no, this is not about me. Let's discuss the merits and the merits. So when they came back, I was a monitor journalist. They are there saying, what do we do? Maybe he's not interested. And they didn't want to look bad. So he kept on until that 2003 meeting in Chankwanzi, where the senior colleagues, Museveni's contemporaries, were all not interested in it. But a newcomer, Gilbert of Kenya, who was looking for a bearing, spent almost all the evening time, because they were there for about a week, mobilizing NRM district chairpersons to write a memoranda to say they are endorsing Museveni, who as usual pretended he was not interested. So because he keeps people guessing, even the recent lifting of the age limit, many MPs knew that Museveni wants to die in office, and therefore we must facilitate. If you do facilitate him, you actually become a darling. There are rewards, but you may not even have the opportunity to speak to him. He has not told anyone to lift it. And you will not find anywhere where Museveni said you go and lift the term limit. So they were there falling on each other. What do we do? Until when they brought the matter and we were fighting it and started holding meetings in Nakasero. That's when the MPs told him, you need to tell Kadaga that you are interested because she's making our work difficult. So this issue of Muhoozi is not an issue, it's an issue of Museveni. It has nothing to do with Muhoozi, but it has everything to do with Museveni. The man is tired, the man is old. Will he say, I am tired now, I am not continuing? That's a question. Every NRM person wants to answer that question, but they have no answer. As usual, he has kept them guessing whether now really he's tired, because Museveni is 80 this year. An old man, but also tired. Suppose he wants to come back. Is he behind this? If he's not behind this, now I am done. The only advantage they this time have is that it is his son who is involved. They think even if you make a mistake, but you are making it with his son, he will not be rough on you. So a few ones can risk. So the question, Oscar, you're asking every NRM person, nobody will answer. And all NRM people are like school children. If Museveni wakes up one day and he says Muhoozi, they will now begin parading themselves as if they are the ones who started it. But before Museveni pronounces himself, the answer will be vague. It is a pressure group, it is this, it is no, I am this, until Museveni has pronounced himself. Because this is the discussion is not about Muhoozi, the discussion is about Museveni, when is he leaving power. Unfortunately for the country, Oscar, and for me that's most important, because you see, if the NRM had been an institution, there would be a process to transfer power either to a generation or to another, like it happens in Tanzania and elsewhere. But we are under family rule. In family rule, power is just passed on. It's not transferred. So that's why all these pharaohs are in trouble, because they don't know. I mean, assuming you want to pass it over. We are lucky that even the wife at 75, she's grown old and she's also tired. Because in the 7th Parliament, she woke up one day and said God had told her to go and contest for a constituency. I was waiting for God to tell her again to contest for president, but I think God has seen that she's tired, she can't manage. But when you are under family rule, because NRM does not exist, you are in trouble. You don't know what is going to happen. So the level of uncertainty.
But Semujju, maybe that's not a fair presupposition, because you stood for election under FDC and you won your seat. Katesh stood for election under NRM and won his seat. So there is a party that has won elections.
You see, Oscar.
In fact, when the Honorable Janet Museveni contested for MP Ruhama, she had the biggest majority. She won with the biggest margin of any member of parliament at that point in time. So that was not a transfer of anything. It was not a passing off of anything. She went for competitive election and won with the landslide.
It was actually a big contestation,
even
because she was against the, was it former IGG?
Yes,
who at the time had been seen as a powerful.
And in fact, the president had opposed her until she threatened to run as an independent. That is when the NRM surrendered. She won with the biggest margin of any member of parliament at the time. So Semujju cannot conflate the two.
What Ivan is saying.
What I am saying is you cannot say that because
Museveni at Ruharo, where he votes from, 750 voters, they all turn up, no death, no absenteeism, and he gets 750.
Where?
Ruharo, where that primary school where he votes from.
You see the problem, Oscar.
So
my brother here does.
The last time we deployed an FDC agent at that polling station, he was removed by SFC, put in a van, properly fed. He was only returned to the polling station to sign the declaration forms. You see, these things really for Qatar to get, she even got less. In fact, she should have gotten like 100%.
So come back to the topic.
You are diverting me from the issue.
You are the one who diverted.
You are diverting
because
Museveni's
submission is incomplete without going to the Museveni
because you see, if the NRM was an institution,
what is it?
There will be a discussion even on transiting from the current leadership of the party. The party will be discussing problems, service delivery, as Katesh was saying. All the issues that are now being discussed outside the NRM are issues that NRM, if it was a political party, would have been discussing. But they can't discuss them. These issues can now only be discussed by the family. So if you have a family member, it is okay for you to go and discuss these issues. But maybe both these Kateshuman and Ivan are young. Go back to the history. When Westje says I am contesting, and he requested that a meeting of the movement is called by Gilbert Bukenya, who was the chairman of NRM Parliamentary Caucus. Museveni said, no, that meeting cannot sit.
Maybe
so NRM cannot sit.
It was in bad faith.
NRM cannot sit to discuss the transition, but Museveni's son can correct people to go and discuss. That's a point that I made.
But Oscar,
and that's what we are grappling with as a country. And that's why you see, Kateshuma tells you, I am NRM, but I am associating with the
ideas.
With the ideas of.
Yeah, if you had.
You mean in NRM you cannot discuss those ideas
no,
that you can associate with. So you only have.
I can even associate with your ideas
when
if
they are being
good.
advanced by Museveni's son.
No.
Because these are the better ideas. If you are a political party, a meeting should have been called
Oscar,
for you to discuss them.
But
But you want to associate with the son because you can make a mistake.
Hold on, Kadesh, let him pause. Before you respond, Kadesh, Ivan had a hot one as well.
Yes. You see, I wanted to say, Oscar, you are a teacher. You are a teacher. So if you are a teacher, it is Semujju who has answered a totally different question. Because you see, this is discussing NRM, we are discussing the Patriotic League of Uganda. This is a pressure group.
I am discussing family rule.
You see, any discussion on transition.
Let me switch off Semujju's microphone.
Yes, you see, a discussion on transition is a public discussion. It is not limited to any political entity. FDC, this contestation, it is by contesting and demonstrating and whatever shenanigans it does, is an attempt to answer the transition question, or at least to succeed Museveni, to the presidency. The Patriotic League of Uganda has the same ideals to say, look, we are providing an alternative front, like Subi emerged, not within the limitations of the Political Parties and Organizations Act, but as a loose coalition that is open to everybody to emerge and associate with the ideals of a transition. NRM can have that conversation when it's time, and we shall discuss it. But this is a different entity, which is the Patriotic League of Uganda. It just so happens that people within the NRM are associating with the ideas, and it's not just them. Okay. The Honorable Twaha Kagabo from the National Unity Platform has publicly associated with the SIM. Several other members from different political organizations have emerged to associate with the SIM. For
them, they said they are members. They're not just associating.
Okay, but what I am showing you is that what I am saying is that the association with the Patriotic League of Uganda is not limited to any political movement, that we should come and discuss NRM when we're discussing the Patriotic League of Uganda. Okay. We should be discussing
let Katesh also give his
my brother Semujju, the mistake the opposition keeps making is to downplay the party called NRM. And as long as they make that mistake, they will continue in opposition. Because, in fact, now, this pressure group, imagine now it is a topic for this week. It's going to be on, and we have forgotten the rest. This is not the first pressure group. The opposition has come up with endless pressure group. We talked about it. I don't know how many pressure groups Semujju, Honorable Semujju belongs.
Now has been part of pressure group.
There is now a Katonga. There has been FOC. In Nup now there is a new one called, is it Kunga or something? There are so many pressure groups that have come up. Now, every time NRM comes up with something, or members of sympathetic to NRM, you see now Semujju is raising a lot of speculation. Speculation about who is no.
Mike Mukula spoke the same way you are speaking.
Yes.
But Kavana told him, no, we have nothing to do with the NRM.
But that's why I'm telling you, I told you, but
Kavanda is an NRM member of parliament for Kasambia. So perhaps that was for political banter, but for officially,
you see, what we have, I want to give it up
that line, and then
I want to give it up to the pressure group that it has succeeded in now diverting. You see, now Semujju is putting his effort on downplaying NRM and any other pressure group.
Have I said anything
but
about NRM?
In a few years, we are going to have an election. Maybe NRM will ally with the pressure groups that will be in place, and we will sweep the elections. While you are here talking about NRM and President Museveni, it is so the mistake that these people continue to make is to downplay the party called NRM. And I think until you realize that you need to focus on yourselves. Right now, NUP is tearing itself apart. Semujju has just gone through a transition. He was the Shadow Minister of Finance, passed on to, I don't know whether he did the handover. But the change itself in the leadership within the party, in the opposition, has been chaotic. Even right now, what is happening in Masaka, So actually, this is a very light topic to discuss. We need to discuss the real.
No, we discuss them severally, and if there is enough discussion,
this one is
we'll
just
get them back.
It's a pressure.
But okay, we are going to move on to. You're most welcome to Gang, Honorable Lydia Wanyoto Mutende. Yes.
Thank you, Oscar. Good morning to you colleagues at the Gang and also to our listeners. I'm sorry I'm late. I returned from Mbale very, very late. I'd gone for burial.
Oh, but, may their souls rest in eternal peace.
Yes, here I am.
Now that you're here, yes. I will ask the same question I've been asking NRM people. So are you a member of PLU?
You know, you ask wrong questions. Yes. I listened to Semujju when I was coming. The members, you listen. Yes. You cannot ask a wrong question. It's not a yes or no, because it's obvious. The members of the PLU have been listing themselves. Yeah. Actually,
I wanted to start with you.
We shouldn't give an impression that we are struggling to repress.
They
are listed. The memberships are known, and they have been listening themselves, so that there is no mistake to say that you want to fix yourself anyway.
So you are not a member
of PLU. I think the time to ask for membership will come. Yeah, but they have not issued people to join as members. They've only called well-wishers. So even if Oscar is a teacher, don't ask wrong questions.
This is what we've been teaching. You have said members have listed themselves.
Yeah.
The wrong question.
Is asking wrong questions.
Because the lists are there. They are out there for everybody to see.
So the pressure group has members.
Hey. Yeah.
So, in other words, Lydia, you are not a member of PLU.
Can you imagine?
No. The guests are having difficult to answer. No.
Let me go to the next question. Lydia, are you a member of the MK movement?
You can imagine.
He's a member of SEC.
He's a SEC member of the NRM.
But, okay, let me just say what I think listeners need to know. For all the MK meetings, including the one that launched the PLU in Naguru, I was invited. And I have attended all of them except this one of Naguru because I was not in town. I would have attended. These are my colleagues. I've worked with all of them, including General MK. We work together. They invite us and they tell us their wishes. Even you, Oscar, if you want to invite me to your wishes in Ichigo, you have a think tank, I will come. But I cannot now come and say I'm a member of the think tank of Ichigo. No.
Right.
But Oscar, I think we need to be honest.
But also maybe what I need to say, Semujju, let me finish this. I think if we are going to, that they are also struggling. You said they are making, in their statement, they are making disclaimers because they are under a lot of pressure. Are you a partisan party? Are you what? So they are saying we are non-partisan. But really they have political interests. You cannot say you are non-partisan and you are talking about a political seat. And the Constitution and laws of Uganda 10 and 2 explain how you join politics. So I think that those who are not General Muhoozi should come out and say they have political interests. And clearly this thing is being led by political people elected and they are NRM. For me, David
you have gone ahead
Kabanda.
Where I wanted us to go.
So they should come out and say we are a political outfit, but they are trying to protect General's legal rights because he's still a serving. I'm an officer, but when he waits to the timing is also of instance. If they wait for him to wait for the procedures of retirement, the Baganda said in that Chigweyo, Akolachi,
he doesn't get anything.
So they are trying to balance that too. And for me, these who are not encumbered by legal issues, let them come and say we are political people. We have a pressure group. They invite the ones with whom they have the likes of minds. They push their agenda. At the time X, Kiza Besigye was registered or whatever as a presidential candidate when he was in South Africa. So the absence of General in many of these places should not surprise us because legally he's a serving, but there is an interest, a political interest for him to join politics at the highest level.
Have you thought that some of these people are having the difficulty Ivan and Katesh had here, because at some point you have to make a decision. Am I supporting President Museveni or am I supporting MK?
You see, you cannot support,
because at the same time you cannot tell.
But let me tell you,
Just,
Oscar, sometimes we have to.
You cannot just give me a minute.
We have to help
finish.
you, because for
Just
you are not a
minute.
practitioner. It is us who are practitioners.
I ask questions. Let me finish.
Wrong
this
questions,
one.
my
Let
friend.
me finish this one. So some people are having difficulty because they cannot say we do not like MK because we like Museveni. And that can put you in a very difficult position because you do not see what the future holds. Do you agree with that?
No. It is also too early to do that. Let me give you an example for the political seat. And I don't know how Katesh started, but many people, especially
it started in a very long way.
Many people who are listen to me. Many people who are civil servants, because the law says you cannot join politics 90 days before you. I mean, you join 90 days before the nomination. But now, if you wait for 90 days, it becomes too late. So the civil servants who want to maneuver around the law, they can now go and begin contributing as children of the community. They can go and start contributing to a fundraising. Sindio, they go and put 10 bags of cement here. They buy a cow at an auction there. But people are able to know, because you have not been in camp. Then quietly they say, but I am also there. So when the 90 days comes, the law does not catch up with them. They are already in the community. So I'm trying to explain to you why your questions cannot work for the political environment. You are theoretical, you are from the classroom. But for us on the ground, you must first of all maneuver and dodge the law, but be relevant to the waves.
Maneuver, did you say maneuver and dodge the question? Why maneuver and dodge the question?
Me, I'm happy for David Kabanda, for example. He's my very personal friend, my real brother. But I thought, and Michael Katunji, they have achieved, because all the FMs in Uganda, including TVs, they are discussing them. And in politics, you must be on the platforms, in the media, if you disappear, you are gone. So they have resurrected again in a very high level, and they've achieved.
Let me go to Semujju.
They've achieved.
Hold on,
for the next
Ivan. Hold on. Let me start with Ibrahim Semujju. So, what is the significance of PLU? What is the significance of this MK movement? The rebrand is good. And yes, he's a Ugandan.
But you are not answering. Yes, another person who will answer your query.
Asking you about
Oscar, you can put the same question.
No, I'll put it to you, because the last time I asked him, he went around and set himself a question. So at least you answer the ones I'm asking you.
You see, the country was on a journey to democratize. The writing with the 1995 constitution, the subsequent elections. It is now clear that you only have a chance if you are Museveni's member of Museveni's family and you're also a military man. So those are the two factors that are going to navigate the transition. But also you need to understand, Oscar, that Museveni has been deliberate and consistent in what he's doing. But luck has also been on his side. At the beginning of his administration, and I remember even when the Honorable Kategaya temporarily left because of the disagreement on removing term limit, General Sare said Kategaya cannot go because he's our number 2. Even in the military, Moses Chigongo Alhaji holds an honorary rank. But Kategaya had a real rank, and he was 00 number 2 in the UPDF. Even in the minutes of the High Command, he was being registered as absent. So he was a de facto number 2. Somehow he left and he dies.
He died after coming back.
Yeah, the second number 2 was a creation of Museveni. The Honorable Mama Mbabazi.
I'm wondering where this is going.
You will see where it will end. So the Mama Mbabazi, I don't want to go to his story because everybody knows how it ended. So the significance, which is the question that you're asking of this, is that at the beginning people thought that and historically there are things that people thought Museveni cannot do. You remember Nagenda? On age limit, Nagenda thought, no, he cannot remove it. He cannot. I went to interview the Honorable Kategaya when he was sitting at Professor Byamugisha's law firm, and he told me his biggest regret was that he was too believing. There are things he thought Museveni would never do. So where we are today, at the beginning there are people thought, no, Museveni cannot bring his son. No, the son now he will call him to order. Now he has started. So from one action to another. So somehow a message is being sent, and that's why at the beginning you had 1, 2, 3, 4 NRM MPs associating with Muhoozi project. Now, en masse, because I saw the attendance, I think there are more than 60 MPs.
50.
Yeah, and the others, as I said earlier, and that's why this is relevant. But because NRM politicians, as I said, and I want to emphasize that point, this has nothing to do with Muhoozi. It has everything to do with Museveni. So their calculation, especially those who are seeking to return to Parliament, is that suppose I go, that's the question you're asking, Lydia. Suppose I associate with Muhoozi and the man returns. Won't he fight me? So the other, no, he can't. This is his son. Even if you misbehave, we will forgive you because you are doing it is his son. So that's where the NRM people are. So the significance is that now, Kiriara, you can see that after Kategaya, who was number 2, left, Timba was left. Now the number 2 in NRM is a member of Museveni's family. And no any other person can even dare. You remember at the beginning of Muhoozi's parties, there are some people who suggest that we should also have a birthday party for Katumba Wamala. Katumba Wamala was at a press conference the following, please don't kill me. So you can so that's where the country is. Yes. So Kiriara, I mean, it's the message is becoming Kiriara every day. That either if Museveni dies today, or if we can't wake up, we wake up and the man. So it is only his son. So the people who are around him, and that's why Museveni at one time was calling them self-seekers. That was his own comment about them, because he's been around. He knows that not everybody who is promoting the MK project is promoting it because they think now Muhoozi has a better chance for Uganda, or is even more intelligent than the father, or he will do ABC that the father failed to do. But he offers an opportunity, if you are an MP, to continue, because you'll have the military to beat people for you, or there are also chances that maybe there will be money for you to go and contest. And many MPs by their way will go. Because politicians by their nature or by our nature, you think about what will offer you the opportunity for the next election.
Thank you.
So that's the significance of,
thank you, Honorable Semujju.
Of this PLE group.
Katesh, we welcome Honorable Abdul Katonto in the studio.
Yes.
But a quick one. Say, he did send apologies. Did Semujju here says you had better align yourself with PLU quickly? You know, because the project has been stamped by the big man.
You know, I don't want to engage in speculation, because I know politics in this country. You do not know what the future holds.
If you are NRM.
Because a few months back, we didn't know that Semujju here cannot even step in Najana Akumbi. We could not imagine.
But if Abudu who started the party cannot, what about me who joined
if you say
you must be a very poor student if you didn't.
No, because I have told you the future.
I was not there when it was being formed. Abudu formed it.
A future can dramatically change. We have been here with Semujju. I did not know that at one time he would never step in Najalankumbi. I think now he uses even expressway if he's going to tell.
Which in politics is not.
So I cannot know
that he would need a will to go.
Exactly. So you cannot be at speculate about the future.
Yeah.
The most important thing is to hold your ground, so that the future finds you when your ground is what? Is stable.
But Katesh, isn't that where I started? So finally you are answering the question.
No, we have a mandate. Yeah. Listen, Oscar, we have a member of SEC here. NRM won elections in the last campaigns. We had a manifesto. We had a presidential candidate who is still our flag bearer. We promised the people 5 years have not yet ended. So I cannot be here to speculate. I have told you that I associate myself with the ideas, the ideas that I have had from the pressure group. The pressure group has not issued membership cards for you to ask me whether I have a membership card. I have a membership card of NRM. I have not discarded it. So now, why are we discussing speculation here? You don't know. Even in the next election, SEMUJJU could be a candidate from the NRM or PLOU. Or
he nearly stood for speaker.
Exactly. We cannot. We should not.
I interviewed him here as a candidate for speaker and asked what madness had befallen him. But Ivan, very quickly. So now SEMUJJU has cleared. It is okay. You can say I'm PLU and start speaking for them, and you know it's okay.
Yeah, you see, it is not. There's no problem with it.
Yeah.
You see, look, the question of transition is a legitimate public interest discussion. So if PLU is saying our idea is to create a platform that mainstreams this conversation, and we are identifying, or we are coalescing around this conversation, and we have identified somebody we think should lead this transition. It is a legitimate conversation. The question, like the only problems with it, like Honorable Lydia here pointed out, are the legal limitations of the supposed candidate in waiting, and that is why, at least in the recent times, it has been purely led by politicians, launched and articulated the mission, and the mission has been articulated by politicians. So it is a legitimate discussion. And let me tell you, Oscar, this conversation for the last year, it is only in 2021 that we have had maybe a below 40 candidate, for example, contesting with Museveni for the presidency. So there is a generational dynamic to this conversation as well.
Generation, Muhoozi is my age.
Yes. But the people who are champion, the members of, if you look at Abba Lilian, who is the vice chairperson for Northern Uganda, is about 33 years. Okay. At least formally on the Parliament website, that one is formally listed. The people, most of the people who are mobilizing, the mobilizers of PLU. You see,
my children have entered university.
This is not a dictatorship. It will not be a one-man government. The government is made up, is constituted by different layers. So the generation of people who are championing the PLU are people, at least are children born in the NRM era, and they are articulating the need for a place of young people in this discussion, and they are champion. They've mainstreamed this conversation. So everybody else who is talking about it is now reacting to a legitimate conversation.
Thank you, Ivan. If I had power, I would appoint you the PR of PLU.
Those positions are already taken.
So, Honorable Katuntu, does the PLU have significance on a political platform in Uganda?
But I saw a message that Katuntu is welcoming the MK project in his area.
I was welcoming MK supporters, like indeed I welcome NOP, I welcome NRM, because I'm an independent. I mean, I don't have any people for myself. I welcome everybody.
So you can get a vote from everybody.
That's what, actually, not that I can't. That's what I do. Yes, and that's why I win convincingly.
Right. So PLU, will it have significance?
Okay, let me raise the conversation a little bit.
Before you raise, we want to welcome you from Bugweri and thank you for hosting us. For Taresita, I must say already that you are a very good host and a good mobilizer. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
I was there.
Yes, as you come in, says Tanbula Kampa says PLU is one of the groups that will be mobilizing for President Yoweri Museveni come 2025-2026. That's Akampa. Then we have our regular listener, Midday in Palisa, says, good morning, gang. Today you are applying higher order thinking questions that some people are not answering. So,
Okay, let us look at this. What is the current status of our politics in this country? The NRM has been in power for the last almost 40 years. So is President Yoweri Museveni. Is it the time to talk about a transition? Has that transition started happening? And how are Ugandans stationing themselves post-President Museveni, post-NRM? That's what is going on. Including post-NRM, I can tell you, because when you look at the people who are in PLU, they are basically like when we founded FDC. And let me take you back to a little bit of history, Oscar. When we founded PAFO, and I was there on that desk when that idea came. That idea came from somebody who many people don't talk about. Good enough I've documented it. I know the time, the day when the conversation started. It was Guma Guminsiriza. It's the one who started it. And that meeting, there was Major John Kazora, there was Captain Charles Ruhanga, there was myself, there was Ben Watcher, and there was the late Bernadette Bigirwa. You get it from Bushenya at that time. So that is how we started PAFO. And when the idea came, it was about a third force. Because one, they were telling me that my UPC was gone and did not come back to power, and they would think we need to be thinking about a third force that can compete with the NRM. And thereafter, nobody can tell you PAFO was founded because it was a parliamentary advocacy forum, but it was not. The idea actually was a political party as a third force. Then it metastasized to Forum for Democratic Change. When we co-opted a one-man party of Chapa Karuhanga, then we co-opted people who had been in reform agenda. Because remember, I had campaigned for Kizza Besigye, but I was not part of the reform agenda because me, I was UPC at that time. I remember John Kazora, then Major, Honorable retired, he brought the idea of, look here, we need somebody who is senior, we need somebody who is more experienced, and we need somebody who is NRM, who is not looked at it as an oppositionist. And that time we zeroed on Mzee Augustine Ruzindana. So that is how this FDC was started. When I saw this MK movement, I saw PLA, and I just knew, and let us not lie to ourselves, it is a political party. I mean, it would be disingenuous. It would be stupid if we think there is some pressure group there. I don't know pressure against what and for what. It is a group coalescing to compete for political power. That's how we should look at it.
Finish that sentence. To compete with NRM?
With anybody. And I can tell you, this could be the time of winding up the NRM. Let me say this again, and you'll quote me. I think the NRM is being wound up. This is the beginning of winding up of the NRM. and please quote me years today. Or even the listeners, they'll remember.
I was going for a break, but let us finish this thread. Even Katesh is looking at you.
And actually, let me tell you,
Katesh,
my brother,
big.
Politics is about speculation. It's about, especially, when we study history, we studied to enrich our future, get the lessons from the past and see how we can define the future. But people, as I always say, study history to pass exams. They don't pick lessons out of the past. And that's what people should be looking at. And let me tell you why. Today, if President Yoweri Museveni is not the head of NRM, I just want anybody to imagine, Ivan, whether it is my brother Semujjju here, Ivan, Katesh, or Lydia, or even yourself, the moderator, just imagine if President Yoweri Museveni today is not at the helm of NRM or is not around. What is the future of this what do you call it? Massive party called NRM. Look at the people who are really now pushing the PLA. Look at them. PLU.
Who are the people pushing?
Oh, look at them. This one who started it, really, they were there, but now the thing is crystallizing, I'm telling you. And now you look at the names coming, whether you're talking about my brother Tumwebaze, you are talking about Kasolo, you are talking about Mukula, you are talking about all these members of parliament Ibrahim was talking about. All of them are NRM. Are they looking at their future in NRM today? You need to talk to them honestly. That's why I was saying Kateshi should be serious on this. Because for us, we talk freedom. Including with Semujju, I'm sure they talk to him about it. In the corridors of power and so on, in the corridors of parliament. We discuss this thing honestly. And they are telling you, look here, there is a problem with the NRM as it is now. It doesn't have a future. It could be a baggage in the future. Let us look at the demography of this country, Oscar. We have a child population. Tell me, what is in NRM today that will attract the younger people? Just tell me where you can go and you massively recruit younger people. Tell me, if you are going to compete for the presidency of NRM or chairmanship of NRM today, and President Museveni is not a candidate, just imagine the chaos that will be in the national resistance movement. So people should be discussing this thing, wholesome. So look here, I think, things are starting to work themselves post-President Yoweri Museveni, post-national resistance movement. My own speculation and reading is that General MK, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has realized, and his strategies, that, President Museveni built NRM. Everything about NRM was built around President Yoweri Museveni. Can he inherit that infrastructure which the father built? Maybe not. Maybe not. So he's also trying to build his own thing. And that's why I think Ivan is talking about age and so on. He's not so much interested in the 70-year-old, the 80-year-old. Actually, there's a little bit of contradiction and conflict between those senior politicians, especially in the NRM. So he's building his own thing, like indeed President Museveni built his own NRM. And whether you have that infrastructure which is building compete with NRM, I don't think so. Let me tell you why I don't think so. Then I go off the microphone.
Yeah, before you go.
Because NRM may not be there. That's why I said it was being wound up. So this infrastructure Muhoozi is going to build is going to be competing with now what we know as the opposition.
Abdul, when Patricia is standing here, we are about to go for a break, but you can squeeze in a quick answer. At least you have been answering questions. People like Lydia Wanyoto, who at one time is seated Tarehe. The question is to Abdul, not Lydia. In the same week, Lydia will go to Tarehe Sita. Hold on, we are going for his one. 1 week she will go to Tarehe Sita and sit next to President Museveni. Then the following week she will go to MK movement and sit next to MK himself. So people like Lydia, are they two legs, one leg here, the other leg there? Question to Abdul. No, the question has gone to Abdul.
Okay, I think that sort of contradiction is about to wind away. You don't get so much bothered by it, because I know where they will be tomorrow. That's for sure. Today, but, nobody can even tell you there is a NRM to be talking about tomorrow.
The Capital Gang on 91.3 Capital FM. Capital Gang on 91.3 Capital FM.
Well, we'll come back from the break. More discussions in the break. Ivan, the best comment on X, formerly Twitter, says the hardest question in the history of the Capital Gang. Then he quotes, "Are you a member of PLO?"
But Oscar, I wish to add that if people are looking...
No. Let me give you a bit of context, Honorable Katonto. When you talk about NRM will be finished because of age and so on, there's an election coming up later in this year, contestations between two old men.
Yes.
Now, one old man who's leading the country...
And you know who's the older of the two?
Yes, he's the one leading the country, Biden. And his own judiciary wrote that he's a nice old man, just forgetful. Okay? And now that one has become a campaign feature. But his opponent is only 2 years younger.
2 years younger, but they also forget both of them.
Yeah, they both forget.
They start referring to President so who is already dead. They refer to people they have never met. It's just a confusion and then senility setting in for especially the current president. The other
How old are they?
80.
Isn't he Museveni's age?
No,
At
he's
that
older.
age,
He's older.
Those things begin.
Okay.
Trump might be the same
forgetful.
age.
Yeah.
Trump is Museveni's age.
Trump is a little bit stronger even physically compared to Joe Biden. Yeah, and so on. But let me tell you one thing, Oscar, to go back to our local politics. I don't see PLU being a political party before the next elections. It is just going to remain a pressure group. However,
Before the next election.
Meaning that 2026, the NRM candidate will certainly be on the ballot, President Museveni.
Go on.
Then after that, I see that that's when NRM now will start winding up formally. Formally. And by that time...
You're not like someone who says it doesn't exist. You're kind of using the same words.
Yes.
Formally.
Yes.
No, mine is formally.
That is the distinction.
That is
the distinction.
Yeah. It will start winding up formally, and you'll see a lot of movement.
Yeah.
And alliances and allegiances and loyalty being exhibited
Abdul,
by
allow me
many
to
people.
speculate as well. I was thinking of a situation where you have NRM in power and the leader of opposition in parliament is PLU.
No, that will not happen.
Which will not happen.
No, that will not happen. What will remain of NRM will be weaker. PL is going to be most of, especially the young people within the NRM, the leadership. I see them joining the PLA or PLU, PLU, and then I also see that by that time, General Kainerugaba would have formally retired from the army next term after 26, and he will be a full-blown politician. And I'm telling you, the real politics of transition will start after 2026.
Ivan, you're burning to make a comment.
No, Abdu is reading the situation very, very well.
By the way, we sent him a letter inviting him to Capital Gang. So, General MK. So we hope one day he will make it.
I am sure he will one day come up. But Abdu is reading the situation very well. You see, there is general consensus that the NRM as it is today has grown progressively lethargic and like its flexibility as a political institution to withstand this generational shift in demography and the demands of political competition in the present age are increasingly becoming restrained.
Even when Museveni is a lucky man, even when he should be the one to be referred to, they will say NRM.
It is NRM.
NRM has younger people. Can't say that it is head.
No,
It is just one person who is head.
It is increasing. Let me. Somebody will have his time.
You put it there that
So
Museveni
the
has
conversation,
Museveni.
if you look at when the General MK was commenting about these things, about issues in KCCA, when he was talking about, the MK himself has referred to the party as probably as a reactionary organization. Some of these criticisms happen internally, and they are grumbles about the functioning, but like any healthy institution, political institution should be, so. For the PLU is a realization that perhaps this conversation cannot meaningfully happen internally, or there is no sufficient room to have this conversation internally. So we are creating another platform where people are unencumbered and can publicly debate these issues and mobilize to succeed
this institution. That is why I agree with the parallels Abdu is drawing between PAFO and reform agenda and the PLU, because the reform agenda was initially led by people who were previously a movementists. PAFO was people like the Windmill, people who had grievances, legitimate grievances internally, and then decided to say, look, internally there is no longer sufficient room to have healthy debate on this matter. So let's create a platform where we'll be free to debate and mobilize around these issues. That is what PLU is offering, a platform for people, for the for people within the NRA establishment.
Ivan, as you go off microphone, can people like Lydia and Katesh risk to have a discussion like that?
You see,
the people in NRM,
the platform,
including a member of SEC.
The platform that Katesh has in is what Honorable Kabanda has. They are both NRM members of parliament.
No, you have said more. You have agreed with Abdu that NRM is dying.
Yeah.
And Katesh will not say that on air, that NRM is dying.
I am not saying.
Hold on, Katesh. Let me ask him. I'll come to you. Abdu has said NRM is dying. Semujju has said NRM is dead. And then when Abdu says it will be no more after 2026.
This is a question. You see.
Well, we have the experience. We know how parties die.
What is uncontested?
You don't have any.
All these words.
Yes.
Are really describing a common thing. The idea that the party as the NRM as it is as a party is perhaps no longer
Semujju, I have suffered in this classroom. You ask someone a question. The question. Let me repeat the question. Yeah. Abdu and Lydia. So let me repeat the question so that Ivan hears it well. So the comments that you are aligning yourself with Abdu that NRM is dying. So can Lydia?
I may not.
Can Lydia?
I am not.
No. Let me ask the question. So can Lydia, a member of SEC, NRM, and Katesh, an NRM member of Parliament, can they align to such sentiments?
You see, for me,
let me ask him. I will ask you.
You see. There is a slight. There is a slight difference between me and Abdu. A very slight one. One, he's saying NRM is dying. For me, I'm saying that the NRM has internal challenges as an institution, that the people who are seeking to address those challenges are seeking to create a parallel platform to address these same challenges. And let me tell you, Katesh has already on record said he identifies with the mission and the issues being advanced by PLU. I don't think anybody here contests that mission, PLU's mission or its agenda. All they are saying is that, look, for now they are NRM members, but they are entertaining this conversation at the right time. They will.
Okay, thank you. Katesh, let's have Lydia before you, because she's burning. Lydia,
I just want to give our listeners.
So, will you agree with?
Now you're asking questions.
But that's my job, to ask questions.
But I have
so
will
you agree? Yes, you rope all the response in there. Do you agree with Katuntu that NRM is dying, and after 2026 you may stand for PLU?
Of course, I cannot agree with the Katuntu, because we like, for example, we all on this table on the gang, we shall one day die, but you never wake up in the morning to die. So I'm a member of the NRM party and a leader. That is very important. Every day I wake up, I would like my party to live. If it dies, that's another matter in the future. But for today, let me give you information also, is that we are just planning to begin fixing our register. The yellow books will soon go to the village. Every village in Uganda is going to have our members register. From there, we shall have our structures, elections, and then we shall have flag bearers who are going to compete to join government, including the presidential candidate. Now, if I'm telling you what's happening in my party, but it's very interesting to see people to see people whose parties have died, or or who left their parties,
or
the parties
told you they have experience in dying.
First, wait, either their parties left them or they left their parties to begin wishing us also to die. That's not a very good thing about.
If you had a cancer patient,
so yes, we shall die. No, okay. If we are to die, you cannot wish me death when I'm still alive. I mean, that you are witches, you are wizards. This is not fair. Huh? So our party wishes to live, and we do everything to survive. And let me I was laughing at my brother here, Ivan. Ivan is talking about generation, the NRM party, even members of parliament who attended the launch are members of the NRM. And I don't think that the issue of debate, one of our youth, who was our youth leader, the NRM chairman for Uganda, was David Kabanda. So you cannot begin talking about generations. NRM has younger people, and they have forums they discuss. The debate now, we have a whole structure. It's not about generation, it's about the presidential seat. Because the Parliament of Uganda, I'm a lawyer in my own right, but also I'm an interested politician. I sat for 2 days to read and analyze the parliamentary direction. Katuntu, you're one of the few senior members of parliament now. Majority of members of parliament, I don't even know why we have youth seats. Why we have youth seats for youth. Because majority of your members of parliament are below the age of 40, 43. So what age is the Ivan discussing? It's about finding some nice words. It is the seat and the interest of the presidential
Actually,
seat.
that's why they are now running it Piero A.
So there is no even Piero A will need the blessings of the NRM, including that old man you are saying is old. He has a very big key to the decision of who becomes the next candidate that will win the presidential election.
Of course.
So and Kateshi will bear me witness. The tone, Ivan, listen to this. What about age? The tone of those who want to take up that seat with the hope of winning have changed their methods. You have to be nice. You have to be inviting to the power that be, than to be antagonistic. This age talk, you reduce it and start negotiating to take the seat.
Katesh.
I have told you for free you are not going to pay.
Katesh.
But
Katesh is on. Lydia, Katesh is now on microphone. You have spoken.
One of the topics you have.
Yes. After Katesh, we go to Semujju.
Younger people,
How many times do you
we
want to
have
conclude?
women, we have people with disability, we have veterans, and we have the chairman of our party who is
Thank
President
you,
Yoweri
Lydia.
Museveni.
Thank you, Lydia. So after Katesh, we have Semujju, then Katunt.
Oscar.
Right.
Last week while I was away, I met someone from Sudan, a gentleman. And I know it's one of the topics we are going to discuss, but the issue here is how do we manage transition? How do we manage the era, post the era we are in, to avoid chaotic change that has happened in the neighborhood? So for me, I don't want to sit here and say Abdu is the Honorable Abdu Katuntu partially.
It's not wishing us well.
Honorable Abdu Katuntu. Of course, I would understand because I think he has seen what has happened in his party and Semujju here. But I want to tell you that NRM party is grounded up to the grassroots. It is not something that you expect a sudden death. There will be a transition.
Let them record these statements for posterity.
We are recording them.
Yes. This party has structures up to the grassroots. Up to every village,
you're going to
including Semujju's village and Honorable Katuntu's village. We have structures.
There is a yellow book.
There is a yellow book. So for you to think that it's going to suddenly...
All of it was UPC. Where did the structures...
Semujju, you are going to speak next. Make a note.
So for you to think that it's just going to fizzle away, there will be transition.
Where did the structures of UPC...
PROU is going to play a role in the next elections. Certainly, they are playing a role. You have seen they are all members of NRM, plus now the opposition, which is joining. They will be in the campaigns. We shall deliver our candidate as NRM, supported by PROU. And then, if there is going to be transition post-2026, there will be a seamless transition. The structures of NRM cannot just be, because if you say PROU, this is a
If you say that PL, you continue. If you say that, yeah.
Yes.
You can say Patriotic League.
Yeah, Patriotic League. It's a new. We are all getting. And you cannot just say it is dead and abandoned and a new one crops up. As much as I agree, the new generation of the age demographics is a very big factor. We have been in campaigns. We have seen young people who may not want to. When you talk about NRM, the party to try and mobilize and register these young people. They are looking at something that they can associate with, but that does not take away our massive structure, that is deeply rooted up to every cell. So there will be a mix. There will be a hybrid of the existing structures.
Thank you, Katesh.
And the new pressure group.
You are going round this thing.
That can
let's go to Semujju, who was next in line. Then when we finish, putting hands up. Putting hands up. Ivan, hold on. So,
Oscar,
you want to read the question for him?
Yes, a comment.
Read it.
Who's Twitter?
No, it is people are following the discussion.
Someone
is saying, Semujju says nobody in NRM is allowed to discuss the transition except the Museveni family. But he deliberately ignores the fact that majority of the people in PLU are members of NRM, some even holding high leadership positions in the party. So what is that?
In fact, that's what I was going to ask him.
Because you are saying nobody can debate.
Ivan, that's what I was going to ask Semujju. That do you believe people now can have these sacrilegious thoughts to think like Katesh says, post Museveni? And is that why you have a member of SEC gagging them, looks at Ivan, says, tone your language down, stop being confrontational. So stop being confrontational, be kind, tone it down. So these thoughts, are they allowed to think of?
Mike Muhoozi is the vice chairperson of the party for Eastern.
The question was going to Semujju,
he was the one,
and you supplemented it.
Oscar, you see, the question that you are asking me, his answer.
Yeah.
So the answer to that question was provided at the beginning of this show. That every person you were asking was non-committal. It is just after the
Someone said it is the hardest question in the history of Ghana. No, you are not in
when the show
NRM.
Was on. And I gave you a history of how Museveni has kept people guessing and how they have suffered heart attacks. And even these ones, when we are with Andrew Mwenda, and Andrew Mwenda has been very honest. First, he says you will not have Muhoozi contesting against his father. That Andrew said. And then he said the only reason that Muhoozi might be maybe a good prospect is that it gives Museveni comfort. That Andrew has said many times. I've been with him. The others are pretending. They are saying that the reason Muhoozi is raising up, NRM is tired, NRM is a generation. No. The debate, the debate is Museveni's age now. I disagree with Abdu when he compares this PLE of Muhoozi with Pafo. You see, the people who have worked with Museveni and the opposition that joined hands, they did so at the time Museveni was plotting to stay in power. They actually, from the onset, set out to remove him. So the Abdus of Pafo and FDC, which I joined later, their intention was to remove Museveni.
That's true.
The intention of this group is actually not to remove Museveni. And that's why it has kept everybody speculating. Exactly. So these ones are waiting. Either he dies or he becomes sympathetic and he says, I am...
Now and then next.
Yes. So, or he becomes sympathetic and he says, I am now tired. The same way Charles was waiting for his mother for generations. And as soon as the man gets the throne, he also gets sick. That's why you, the Ivan, I sympathize with you. This Museveni is like Mugabe. Even at 93, Mugabe wanted to continue ruling Zimbabwe. He had to be removed forcefully. And unfortunately for you, the person that you think can...
Well, he was very sad.
Yes. No, even when they went to plead with him, because you see, they even continued celebrating his birthday after his removal. They were very sympathetic. They didn't want to drag him out of the presidency. They hold a meeting in the morning. Sir, we want you to leave. But the tanks were rolling on the street. And he said, no, you call a meeting of sake. I will tell you what to do. So you have a similar problem in Uganda. You have a Mugabe-like person in power. And that's why, because you are not like Abdu and his group who said, no, Museveni must stop there. He must respect the constitution. If he refuses, we must go for him. For you, you are running behind Museveni's son, who's waiting for death or for sympathy. And Charles waited until the mother died. And you have seen, he came in very old. So this project of yours, of MK, you may have to wait, except if you come and join us and we remove the old man who you have said is tired, but you are fearing. Then you begin accusing NRM of being a tired generation. But NRM, first of all, it's not, but people who support it, some of them are young people who support Museveni. So you can't accuse them of old age. The only factor, as I told you, see, Ugandans can be dishonest. I have told you, Oscar, here, the debate on removal of term limit, Museveni said, no, we should go. He was the only one person that the constitution was saying after serving 2 terms, you go. But he said, don't debate me. You debate the merits and the demerits. So this is what you are doing, dishonest debate. Let's discuss Museveni. He can no longer function as a leader. He's tired, he's old. But because you want to pretend generation.
So, Honorable Semujjju, after the break, we'll go to Honorable Abdul.
Can I conclude?
You have concluded.
The Capital Gang on 91.3 Capital FM. The Capital Gang on 91.3 Capital FM.
Welcome from the break. This is the Capital Gang. Great discussion. We had other topics for discussion. I don't know if we'll get to them. So, Abdul, you had a response to Lydian Katesh.
Yeah. I hope both are students of history, but some of us, not only are we students of history, but we lived that history. In 1985, when the Uganda People's Congress government, which my father served at a very, very high level, collapsed, the UPC party...
Someone has said on Twitter, this is Billy Augustus, give Katesh uniform, he's a newcomer. That comment, Mbu, NRM has structures everywhere.
Okay, now, actually, I don't know why you're even talking about what... he's talking about what I'm going to have an opinion on. You see, the UPC was preparing for the next gen elections. 1985. And all villages were in that mood. And when the Rutua regime, the Rutua junta announced that they had overthrown the UPC, many UPC functions at the village level didn't believe. Because it was not like it's possible. Each and every village in this country had a UPC structure. Chairmen and so on, and vibrant ones. And I must say this, in Kateshi's village,
it was the home.
That was, no, not home, the cradle of the Uganda People's Congress. Immediately UPC was out of power. I can tell you, those structures fizzled out, and I can tell you, Lydia says you wish people death and so on, but you need to look at that history, and you see how they vanished in thin air. And that is the nature of human beings. Within 1 year, tracing UPC on, actually 6 months, tracing UPC on the ground was literally like tracing water in a desert. It was terrible. So when you're in government, Oscar, you've got structures which are appended to the state. And they are, you'll find a part all over the place. And so on. Get out of government today and you look for the structures Katesh is talking about. But some of the UPCs are dying, but others are still alive. Ask them. They'll give. I'm sure even your parents must have been UPCs. Yeah, you are.
He transited to the NRM.
That is what we are telling. That's what we are telling you.
We have our member here, the everlasting Joseph Otieno.
Yes, they'll tell you what happened. That is number one. Number two, and this is quite interesting. Even Katesh and Lydia, Nan is talking about this very, very gigantic NRM competing post-1926 for political power. That's why they are saying, you talk to us properly. Stop the confrontation, then we will be able to hand over. You get it? What we are discussing today, at least if you are like President Museveni, and that's why many people get him wrong, those who misread him. They think he's talking about 2-3 years today. He's always talking about things far ahead of everybody. So if you are discussing Ugandan politics today, don't tell me anything between now and 26. We should be looking at even beyond 26, what would the political configuration be? And none of them is telling you that NRM is positioning itself somehow after 26. None. We seem that all agree that after 26, circumstances are that NRM will not be all that a competitive player. So, Oscar, whether we want it or not, there is a transition coming. And what we are discussing today is politics of transition. And the post 26, you are going to have PLU together with another group called now NUP. Because even this, because I can see even many people in FDC currently may be in NUP tomorrow. No, I don't want to go to names. I can see people who are in UPC may be in NUP tomorrow. So if you are looking at the competing viable forces, it will be PLU versus NUP. And let me tell you one thing, Oscar. Even Semujju reminds me about when we were founding actual FDC. I remember going to Bugolo to Mama's place, Mama Cecilia, and I just told them, I'm going. Because I sought permission from UPC at that time to join FDC. And there was a group, I'm going to tell you the name is really later off air. But we are saying, look here, for us, as long as those NRMs are there, don't even associate. And to them, there is no, they don't associate with people from the NRM. And for them, they remain in that UPC. And that group actually never associated with the VSA because they didn't want anything to do with anybody who was what? NRM. They even went ahead actually to sort of compete. Anybody who took power from them. Yes. So even now I can see there are people in the Orthodox opposition who is like anything to do with the NRM, President Museveni can only be overthrown. They don't even want to talk about, okay, even if he lives now, either by nature or on his own.
I am one of those. I am one of those.
I don't want to mention
who
this.
don't believe that Museveni can hand over to his son and I associate with his son.
Thank you.
No, I am one of
Abdu,
those.
you're done. Let's go to Ivan. Conclude in 2 sentences because you started the topic.
The other group in my UPC.
You started. Ivan started the topic. So 2 sentences on conclusion of a. Hold on, and then after you've concluded, you take us to Tarehe Sita. I'm not so sure we'll have enough time to discuss Sudan.
Okay. So my conclusion of the PLO discussion is that it is a welcome conversation, and it is ripe. It is a ripe. It is the conversation that PLU is championing is a ripe one.
What is that conversation?
The microphone is off, Honorable Assembly.
And for people who are looking for change with continuity, non-disruptive change with continuity, change with reform but with continuity. PLU is an ideal front. An ideal group.
As you go to Tarehe Sita, Abdul Elizabeth tells you Trump is too old and incited a coup, and Biden is too old and mixes up names. Tarehe Sita, 43 years of UPDF.
It is UPDF, formerly NRA, formerly PRA. Formerly FRONASA. So that shows, in fact, the naming, the nomenclature of the name shows the transition that the force has come through, and each transition has come with reform, with more professionalism to the army that we have now. The FRONASA outfit that started was a college of Museveni's high school friends and passionate people who voluntarily took up military training to be able to have a say in the politics of the country that were at that time dominated by the DP and the UPC and the UPC. From FRONASA in 1981 when it attacked Kabamba, and which is the occasion we celebrate every Tarehe Sita, it attacked Kabamba as PRA, which was Popular Resistance Army. Then it transitioned into NRA after merging with the Yusuf Rulezi outfit, forming NRA. Every rebranding has come with the reform and professionalization of the army. And UPDF perhaps is also unique because I think it was one of the few armies that really actively, or even perhaps championed, a constitutional making process of any country, because in the National Resistance Council that drafted the 1995 Constitution had a very prominent membership of the soldiers, of the NRA soldiers. Unfortunately for Uganda, these were brilliant, educated men, the Tinyefuzas, the Nubumayombos, the Tumukundes, who are the people now that
you nearly said Chiza Besige.
Even Chiza Besige, he was a very prominent member. At that time, I think he had been National Political Commissar and all. But they were all very educated, young
So, do you think UPDF will ever go Sudan way?
No.
Never?
No, never.
Because
I would also want to be on record. The NRA UPDF, because there is something, I don't remember who said that an army without political education is a soldier without political education is a potential criminal, or is a potential criminal. Oscar, that even the most initial challenge to the Museveni establishment movement was led by these soldiers themselves. Kiza Besigye, who led the first breakaway, or even David Tinyefuza, who was the first soldier to contest the powers of the military under the constitution that was made in 1995. These were soldiers themselves. They made the constitution and tested it out by challenging the commander-in-chief and all of that. Now the army has migrated from the time it was led by Kazini and his acolytes, people who were not as educated or as professionalized, to now the successive command of Aronda, Wamala, David Muhoozi, Katumba, and General Badi, all of whom are very educated, some master's level and all very educated and professional soldiers. So people who have here, I'm sure that the people, and that is why recently there has been a sort of revisionism, trying to draw parallels, with the meantime and all. But people who have lived in those eras are always the first to quickly say, even despite NRM's limitations, the idea of state-inspired insecurity and violence, of the 1980s and 1970s, is far removed from the Uganda of today.
We have less time for this topic.
Where you can have military officers championing.
Thank you, Ivan. Pass microphone to Lydia. Tarehe Sita, 43rd. Do you agree with Ivan that we have a very professional army?
I would like to congratulate the people of Bugweri, starting with Honorable Katuntu here and his colleague Honorable Magola Rachel for the mobilization, especially for the day, but also the week, what they call the Army Week, because the whole of Soga participated in sports, construction of health centers, remembering the people that contributed to the governance we have today, like the late Chirunda Chive Jinja and others. So it was a very well organized function, and the people were many, they mobilized, but also the message sank about the contribution of the military, but also being crowned as a people's army. The way they did the CIMIC, the civil military relations, came out very well. The army has not only grown in number, but also grown in services. They have the land forces, they have the air force, they have the training arm, they have many services, and now they are the SFC. All these branches are now operational and they are specialized. So we can talk about the professional army, but also the branding away from our history. In the past, we used to have the history of saying that the army was too militant, it was anti-people. We talk about the issue of people being killed by using the army as a tool for scoring political agenda, but also for political, maneuvers. But now the army has been transformed to be a community darling that works with people and also serves people. They've also been able to transform and advance to service that is a service beyond the war. Because while we look at them in uniform and guns, they have also now advanced to say the military can contribute to the social transformation of the country. So they are into construction. You've had them even including Kampala State handling roads. They did the other day. They did for us a terminal at the airport. They've been able to build health centers. They are in the construction of road infrastructure in the country, and also schools and health centers. So that shows that they've gone beyond just the military arm of protection into conflicts. So now they are doing other than war, a lot of work other than war, which is a very important and advanced contribution to the country. And because of their training of discipline, resilience, they are able to do work in a timely manner, but with meager resources compared to their civilian counterpart. And that's a good culture and a good discipline to inculcate when they are relating with the civilian leaders and civilian congregation. Now, it has been an army week, but because of what they do and with the resources they have, people are beginning to say, now let's have a month's week, an army month, so that they zero off a zone and they do what they call good practice or a good example, so that the civilian component can now pick it on from there. So if it is branding, they have branded. But also for the side of civilians, we've learned that working with them, maybe we begin preaching a new culture of governance into our country. And we should not begin preaching doom that because the FDC died, NRM will die. Because the military of Amini was bad, even the future will be bad. There is always the good. We learn lessons and go to the good. So we are seeing a military story that works good, and like I've said, they've gone beyond the conflict of arms now to work other than war, which is us actually that is showing that they can do much even better as people are doing outside the war. Thank you.
Katesh, you agree?
I agree.
Professional military?
Professional.
Predicting and speculating on what Semujju will say?
I mean, when I was growing up, let me not go into that story of 1970s.
So you are still growing up?
Yes, when I was young, I witnessed the brutality.
So for you are not in this generation. Which generation are you now?
I was a very, very young
kid.
Let me switch off Lydia's microphone.
I remember the soldiers who came to our home in the night and demanded, of course, to be fed, they were fed, and in the morning they carried what they carried, left us. And one of them came back and warned. He happened to know the language my mother was speaking, and said that we are planning to come and finish you and take the property. And then that's the army that was then. At that time, any sight of a soldier, you would just run away. Right now, the UPDF, which has transited from what my colleague has mentioned, is a completely different professional army that we are all proud of. A sight of a soldier, you don't need to, run away. They have been able to undertake their mission, which is largely to defend, protect the territorial and sovereignty of Uganda. All our borders are safe, corner to corner. At least people can sleep knowing that there is an army that look out for them. But beyond that, Oscar, this army has played a very, very big role in the region in terms of peacekeeping missions, stabilizing the region in Somalia, DRC, Chad, Equatorial Guinea, many other places. So it is there for everyone to see. And most importantly, the way it is structured, the command and control, you do not have people leaving barracks or going everywhere with guns and terrorizing the people. So there is, it is highly, tightly structured, and for me, that is very good. But we have seen, like my colleague has mentioned, in my constituency, Kawere Center 4 is being upgraded, and it's being done by Engineering Brigade. And they are doing a very, very good job. They have worked with the population. The work that they are doing is professional. Everybody is happy that they are doing work. In fact, I think almost all other infrastructure works that will take place, UPDF will undertake them. We have seen UPDF and that deal with disasters. When we had the locusts, when we have had all these landslides, UPDF have been there. I think as we celebrate, now we need to look at the future. Because how do we support our army to acquire capabilities for the future? Especially if you look at the 4 dimensions: land, air, sea, and space. Because as Africa, we are still single dimensional, but we have now global powers that are dominating the 4 dimensions: the space, the air, the sea, and land. So perhaps the discussion will be in the next many years to come. How do we support UPDF to acquire? We have seen drones coming up. We have had defense systems, anti-missile defenses. Countries are acquiring all this. So now it is time to look at how do we strengthen our UPDF into the future.
Okay, thank you. You talk about drones, good part of the discussion, because even the drones here in Uganda, there's a reference. People usually say, what color of drone do you want to pick you up? So you have taken us. But now Semujju is on. Semujju is coming on microphone. We are out of time.
Don't talk about the drone.
I think you are being unfair to Semujju.
I don't know whether you don't see these things. When someone makes a comment, they say, what drone is? He spoke very well.
With the drone.
But he's the one that opened that area. So Dr. Namara says to you, I disagree strongly with Abdul, who is a prophet of doom today. Many said such on CCM, albeit differences. That is why Museveni needs to stick around to ensure smooth transition. The fact that Kanu and Reform died does not spell death to NRM. Internal challenges are normal and they will be dealt with. Crispy Kaheru says Abdul Katonto has nailed it. This is a political group, a political party in the making. There's one other one I liked. Kaswara, PLU is posturing for the post-Museveni era. You will not have last word, Honorable Semujju. I'll trust Honorable Katonto today with last word.
My word can come at the beginning or at the end. Oscar, let me draw a parallel. Robert Mugabe, the revolutionary leader of Zimbabwe, his birthday was being celebrated every year. His colleagues were even good. Even after removing him, they staged another one. The last one celebrated when he was in power, 2017. And they spent about $2 million. At that time, it was believed, like you see in Uganda, that Grace Mugabe is taking over. Now it is Muhoozi, member of Mugabe's family. And in fact, she was being described in the media as the front runner to succeed the husband. Now we have a son.
She nearly did. She had sucked.
That's why I am
crocodile.
That's why I am doing the parallel. Eventually, she didn't, but she nearly. But the fact that these days are celebrated, I think all dictators do. Because there is nothing UPDF about Tarehe Sita. This is the day Museveni and his group, criminals, went to attack a government barracks. A full-fledged government. Criminals pick guns, go and attack it. And when they go into government, they want the whole country to remember the day they went to attack.
But we didn't like that government then.
It does not.
So there was a lot of
government.
sympathy.
Even the one of Museveni, I don't like it. So do I pick a gun, go and attack a barracks, and then begin celebrating? But all dictators do. Everything is about him. Museveni has been wiser than the Mugabes. He doesn't put his photo on Ugandan currency. He has not named. These days, by the way, he has started a bit, but he was not naming roads after him and schools. I was actually surprised when they put that monument in it was Museveni like, because Museveni has been wiser. The smaller things he doesn't follow for them. That's why, in his wisdom, he instead of celebrating his birthday or the day he married, you will have Tarehe Sita, which has nothing to do with the military. Because he had telling me something military about Museveni picking a guns and he attacks a barracks, and then you tell me that this is an armed day. Where?
That is where you.
I am the one on the microphone. You had your time. It is just that the country at every stage must be reminded of Museveni, his achievement as a person, and this will be last. Even when the formal ranks in the military were introduced in Rubiri 1987, Charigonza walked away. Why did he do so? Because at the time of formalizing what was NRA, Museveni said, no, it is actually not NRA. He was now giving ranks to people he had been with in what he called Foronasa. You are now celebrating 40-something days. That's why Charigonza, permanently in the UPDF, a member of the historical high command, started at the rank of brigadier, and Museveni, his brother Sare and Rwejema and others started at major general. Yet they were at the same rank. So when they gave him the pips, he put them on his shoulder and walked away in anger. So there is something about Museveni, these young people, you need to read. So when you tell him it is NRA, it is Foronasa. When you tell him it is Foronasa, no, it is entirely group.
Thank you, Honorable
So you are
Semujjju.
not talking about UPDF.
Let's have Honorable Katuntu conclude the Capital Gang.
Semujjju is a professional cynic.
These things are
But this time, Dr. Namara said it is Abdu who is a prophet of doom.
Well, I think he's head over he's in love with the NRM. But we shall talk 5 years today, Dr. Namara. That's not a problem. And we'll see who'll be right. The Uganda People's Defense Forces is created under the current constitution. Articles 208 does spell out the functions of the Uganda People's Defense Forces. And indeed, actually Article 209. And indeed, there are 4. The first one is to preserve, defend the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Uganda. So if you are to be measuring the success of the Uganda People's Defense Forces or the army, you must look at the constitution and say, when it was set up, what was it supposed to do? And you'll measure and give them the marks you think. Has the Uganda People's Defense Forces been able to preserve and defend the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Uganda? Number 2 was to cooperate with the civilian authority in emergency situations and in cases of natural disasters. Number 3 was to foster harmony and understanding between the defense forces and the civilians. And then number 4, to engage in productive activities for the development of Uganda. So, in my view, the Uganda People's Defense Forces as it is today, of course you can't run away from its history. It started as a rebel Taga army, which Semujjju is talking about, which engaged an established government which was lawfully elected. That is also correct. My own father served the government of Milton Obote, and he was one of those people who were engaging the NRA in the so-called Luero Triangle. He was not, by then the UPC government was not overthrown by by NRA, the UNLA overthrew itself. And it provided an opportunity for the NRA to come and sweep the forces that are taken over power. So this ragtag army which Semujju is talking about, of a few individuals, which now has transformed to what it is today, it can only be a success story, nothing else. It's not about being in Luwere anymore, but it's about being a national army, professional, well-trained. When you look at the manpower or the human resource within the UPDF today, it is certainly different from that one of the Uganda arm of Idi Amin. It is also different from the one of the Uganda National Liberation Army in terms of training, in terms of qualification of officers, and so on.
Even different from 1986.
Absolutely.
So,
I don't know that
we don't have time.
So
is once yes.
So to
up.
me, I think, of course, to answer Semujju, all institutions have challenges, because we cannot say UPDF is very powerful, it is disciplined, but doesn't have challenge. It has some challenge,
Thank you.
Many of us should ask the UPDF to continue addressing those challenges, like those things which Katesh talked about.
Nearly referring to. Thank you, Abdul. Thank you, gangsters. Last week we talked about an askari. In town called is from Lalia village in Gulu. Benson Omara, ardent listener. Now this week I popped into Capital Radio, and one of the presenters, Malaika, said her dentist called Dr. Deo Mawano told her that I only listened to two stations on radio. Said I listened to the BBC and I listened to Capital Gang. Okay. So she asked him, did you say Capital? He said, no. I listened to Capital Gang and I listened to Capital Radio. So now my producer here, Patricia Osman, her sister has written a little book here to give out to children in Tororo. So to give out to children in Tororo, little children to give. But Ivan's children already have. Ivan has a new pickup, so his children have. his children already have, but Ivan can buy for the girls, and we can use the large vehicle to take these books to Tororo. No, I was just saying we can use the pickup to go to Tororo. Star Cafe, thank you so much. Today there was great performance.
Well, I need to congratulate my brother, Martin Wandera,
yes,
who has been a director in the Ministry of Gender. He has been appointed. Can I please for
internationally?
Yes.
Okay.
He's now appointed director of the International Labour Organization, a country office for Pacific Island countries.
Fantastic.
And this is with effect from the 1st of March 2020.
Your friend Justice 17 there as well?
No, say Judge 17. About justice, I don't know, and about being my friend, I don't know.
Thank you. Listeners of the Capital Gang. Katesh, has been there. Thank you, Katesh, Abdul, and Ibrahim. Thank you, Lydia Wanyoto. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, all the listeners. Continue following us on our social media platforms. I am Oscar Semuya Msoke, and I shall see you next week.